Okay, so we're in the home stretch now. It's time to rig up the head rotation and the body rotation. So just before I started recording, I realized my mask's features and head, this guy over here, was inside of my head composition. So I cut and paste those out. So these pieces I cut and pasted on the outside, and I just created a new composition called mask F. So before we start bringing in the other pieces, let's first start creating compositions with all our pieces that need to be grouped together. So I'm going to unparent all of these quickly. Just because now I know my skeleton works, I know my IKs work, I need to unparent them just so that I can set up the other features, set up the other heads and body parts, just so they can rotate first. Because I know if it's parented and you start comping things together, sometimes it throws the objects all over the screen. So just for safety, I'm going to unparent it. The cool thing about the duik bones, these bones work independently from your artwork, so you can have no artwork and still maneuver your bones, like whether something's parented to it or not. These bones will still work. I can go and parent any art that fits this build, like even just editing the Miles artwork and then bringing in that art and parenting it to the skeleton. It will work just fine because the skeleton is already set up. Okay, let's start grouping things together. So first thing we're going to group, we are going to bring all these pieces of the upper body into one composition. So you'll notice this web pattern I left as one piece because I thought when I do the smooth rotation that I can just I can animate the webbing easy if it's all one piece, and then just duplicate it as I'm going to do now, and then have it masked out by the part of the body that it's overlapping. So you'll see this web pattern, I'm gonna have it be masked out by the upper body. So if we look at that, cool, and web pattern 2 by this torso. So this naming that I have, I completely forgot. I don't know how I forgot. Duik's naming convention, just to keep it simple for you guys. So this is my own naming convention because sometimes I rig not using duik, but when I do a lot of these After Effects builds, I always use duik. So just to keep the confusion from the naming, I'm gonna name the upper body and the torso and the pelvis the way duik makes their names, which is torso for the top, spine for the middle, and hips for the bottom. So let's get to it. So I'm going to group these together, pre-compose. Always make sure this is clicked off, because say your exposure isn't all the way through, it might just it will make your composition the length of your layers exposure. So for this part you want all your layers exposed all the way through. So I've got a long your composition here, so I gave a nice long composition so that it can fit any shot of any length. I doubt you'll ever have a 12-minute shot, but just for safety. So let's pre-compose this. This we're going to call torso F for front. Let's just make him red as well. Then we're going to do, this one's going to be spine F. Don't know why I hit D. And then we want to make this red as well. Just continuously rasterize. And then this we're going to pre-compose as well, because the other hips are also going to be in there. So we're going to call this hips. Well, let's first name him. we're going to name this hips F, and he's just going to a hips comp, so we can bring all the hips in there. Okay, cool. And I like that. Then we're going to do, so each one of these are going to be in their own composition, but I'm not going to pre-compose them now because I first want to make sure they are rotating correctly when I bring in the other arms. So let's bring in the other artwork. Let's just save, and let's bring in our other artwork. So this, at this part, this is where things can get a little hectic with layers, but not to worry. As we reach the end, this will be nice and neat. So as you see this, we only have our controllers minus these new comps. But yeah, as we get to the end, it's going to be nice and neat where we only see our controllers and we only work with our controllers. Okay. So I just wanted to scroll back to where our layers are, our art layers. So our quarter front is over here. So we're going to do the same with this. I'm going to put all the mask pieces together. And I'm going to pre-compose this, call this mask QF. So all my mask pieces together. Let's also give all of this a different color. So if that was red, I'll just make this yellow. I'll just go down the list. Continuously rasterize. So we have our mask, and then let's do all our head pieces together. So it always ends over there. Oh, by neck piece. Recompose head QF. So the reason why there's a neck piece, so it's just for when his mask is off. So when you put the mask on, it goes fully. When you take the mask off, you can see a little bit of his neck sticking out over the piece of the suit. Okay, just turn this yellow again. This piece was supposed to come within, but not to matter. I'll just cut it and paste it in so it sits right at the bottom. So it's just the hair. Okay. And then on to our body. So we see again our web pattern is separate. So let's just bring it down there. So upper body until the symbol, pre-compose. And let's call this torso QF. And then this we're going to call spine. I keep pressing D. Spine QF. And then we got hips QF. And we're not going to worry about pre-composing this over here, because this is going to go into our hips pre-composition. So yellow, continuous rasterize, and I think we have them all there. So we can start with these so long. So let's start from the top. So let's do the mask. So I'm going to bring the mask QF over here. I think they should lay correctly. If you want to see that they flicking, if they rotating correctly, you can solo these two like this and just lower the exposure to like a frame so that you can flick through it. Seems okay. I think the mask might be raising just a little bit. So I turn on my checkerboard. So I like to test like this just to make sure the one mask isn't going higher than the other, or the head. So I think that's cool now. I might still move the position of this according to the neck, because all these pieces, the necks are going to overlay each other, and so they can rotate correctly. So the head might just, the position of the head might change a bit, but you'll see that happen in action as I do it. So just backspace, backspace. Let's just go back to before I change the exposure. So now I know let's save that. So I'm gonna make a pre-composition with these two now called masks front comp. So the reason why there's a masks front comp separate from the back, because when he's in his back view, this head is going to sit behind the neck. So we're going to have another composition for the back mask that's going to sit below the neck. So this one is just going to contain all the front masks, which is front until profile. Okay, so we got these two. Okay, might as well just move the anchor point. Okay, so now, just like what we did with the mouths, we're going to use an if statement. So let me grab my if statement from duik. So my if statement is still over here. I actually modified this a bit because I want to place this on the actual YouTube video to make it even easier. So let me just show you how I modified it. So I wrote it on a separate document. So over here, so it already has all the information you need. So if we just copy this and paste this here so I can explain it better. So disable it. So as you can see here, inside of the brackets, I just wrote paste comp name here. So what that means is you need to paste the main comp that this is referencing. So now you don't have to go and pig whip this or anything, because now most of the script's already written. So our main comp, let's just move all these to our comps layer. So this is our main comp. So you can literally just hit enter on your keyboard, so you can highlight the name, Control C to copy, and then come here and you can just paste this in. See that? It's going to give us an error because these mustn't be called, there is no layer called paste layer name here. So now we want to find the layer name that's driving the head rotation, which will be this control over here. So I'll just double tap P, just take me straight to it. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go back to my masks front, and I'm going to paste it there where it says paste layer name here. So in my AND statement of this this if statement, so after and it's again comp paste name layer name here, paste comp name here, and paste layer name here. I can actually just select this entire piece until there. So we can just take this script. Oh wait, so sorry, this part over here also needs to be changed. So I left it where is it 0 or 1, meaning it is it X or Y. So we know this is going to be X because it's going from left to right. So 0 because it's X. So now that we have all that sorted out, we can copy this whole script here, then highlight from this section right until the end of that square bracket and paste. So now now it accepts our if statement, but these values still need to change because we're not doing 0 0. So now we need to just see what our values are. So on our head rotation, so now we know our face starts at 0, so our face is gonna hold until where our quarter front, where this controller reaches over the quarter front. So we can make front lasts until, let's say it lasts until 26 in the X position. So now we're going to our front masks. So it's probably going to be negative 26 on the other. on the other side. So we know this is going to be greater than or equal to negative 26 because it's greater than negative 26, and it's going to be less than or equal to 26, and it will still be 0 because our controller is over 26. But if I type in 26, then our front face comes back. So now let's do our quarter front mask. So if I go a bit further, so I wanted to last just until where we're going to cut off for profile. So let's do 64. So I'm going to copy this if statement and paste it on quarter front masks. And then I'm going to change this. I'm going to remove the minus, because now we're going to start by where the last one ended, which was 26. And then I'm going to remove the equal then sign, because I don't want this to be, I want this to only go on after 26. And then this is going to be, what did we say, 64. So less than or equal to 64. But also our controller is not exactly on 64, so let's type in 64. And now we have our quarter front head appearing over the quarter front name here on the controller. So like I said in the beginning, while we have these nulls, so if I want to be closer to the head and see it happen, I can do that. So now if I move to front, we got front, quarter front, we got quarter front. And that's pretty much how we're going to rig the rest of these heads. I'm gonna bring in the rest of the artwork for all the other views, and it's pretty much gonna go exactly the same. So I'll do the body quickly and just show you how I do it with the body, and then I'm just going to do a time lapse until all the heads and all the bodies are set up, and then I'll just talk through how I do the arms afterwards. So okay, let's get to it. So I just want to find my torso. So let me go into my body. So there, torso QF. So let's just see that this is swapping correctly. So I'm gonna right square bracket, alt left square bracket. I'm just gonna highlight that. Cool. As you can see, it's just Control Z, just get our exposure back. In my torso QF, I still need to mask out the weaving pattern. There we go. Quick save. Okay. So now I can, again, grabbing my if statement from here, just disable this. So the comp name we're looking for is this comp. There is a expression that has this comp expression that references everything inside of this comp, but I don't want it to have that expression. I'd rather name the comp so that wherever I move this, it will still detect that our Miles Morales rig comp is what's controlling it. So then we need our layer name. So our layer name that controls our bodies is this controller right here, body orientation controller. I'm not copying the code. So we just enter, copy the name, go back to our torso front, paste layer name there, and then this is the X, so we're just going to turn that into 0. And now that we have all of that, I can select all of this, pull a selection until that square bracket, and then paste. And our code is accepted. So now we want to find the values in which F stays on. So we're going to go all the way till this line and try and keep these even. So let's see what value that is, -28. So now let's go back to our torso. So we know it's going to be greater than or equal to -28. Oh, not 280. And it's going to be less than or equal to 28. So now we can test that. So it's off because it's greater than, it's less than -28, but as soon as I go back over the F, our body comes back. So it stays visible between those parameters. So now let's do our QF. So we're going to copy this code. We're going to paste it over here. So this is now going to start at 28. So we're going to remove the minus and the equals. Let's just disable the code. So let's see, QF needs to stay on until that line. So it's starting at 28 over here. And then what's this line? Let's just jump to our layer. 81. So now let's go back down and change this 28 into 81. So now let's see if that's working. So it is 81.8 there, but now if we go over the QF, see that's there, and that appears to be working fine. So now that we got those two working, I would like to pre-compose these now. So I just wanted to get the first two working correctly so that I can pre-compose. So same like I pre-compose for the masks. So torso F, torso QF. So this is just going to be torso comp. Because it contains all our torsos now. And this, and then we just need to do the spine and the hips. Let's just do the spine. So I have the spine QF. Let's bring it down over here. So let's bring those two up together. So because I already have my torso comp and these are swapping, these two are going to have the exact same expressions. So I can just copy the front expression, paste it over there, and copy the QF expression and paste it over there. So now those are working out. So now we just need to do our hips. So this shouldn't be happening. This hip shouldn't be that size. I must have made the composition. I think that wrong setting must have been on. Let's just, so this isn't going to work now, but good thing I have, so I'm just moving my thing back into comps. So remember we made this raw miles, so that remains untouched in case of mistakes like that. So let me just grab my pelvis again, and I'm just going to paste it here so I can delete this hips comp with the hips. Because if this thing is now layer size and I pull it out of there, it's going to throw my hips somewhere random here, probably at the 0 point over here, and that we do not want. So delete that. So now let's name this again, hips F. Just continuously rasterize. I didn't mean to double click. And when you double click this color, then it allows you to rename the labels or change what labels they are. I don't want to do that. Okay, so let's first get the other. We can close this raw comp now. So let's first get our hips QF. Bring that in. So now pull it to the bottom. So I can copy the QF, paste it over the hips. And I can copy the front, paste over each front. So those will now change correctly. So to show this in action, I'm gonna just select all these parts and solo them. Oh, and I want to select the controller. So from there, body guides, let's just go all the way down. Torso, spine, hips. There we go. And you can see that's turning correctly. Cool. Let's quick save. So now that that's sorted out, I can go and group these together now. So we got spine comp. It's gonna have all our spines in. And then we got our hips comp. And have all our hips in. And even though those are pre-composed, you can see the code still works. So now we can actually sort out the other side. Torso comp. So we're gonna have a QF2. Let's just turn this to 2. So I'm just duplicating it inside of the composition, so that this is actually still referencing everything on the inside of this. Because just to show this in action, if I move this off, let me just disable this. So if I edit anything in QF1, so say I move the symbol, you will see it happens to the other one as well. The only way to not have this reference each other is to duplicate them inside the project window. I think I did mention it before, but I'll just mention it again. Okay, so QF2. So this, I want to be a reflection. So let me just disable these guys in solo so I can see them. So I'm gonna transform flip horizontal, because it must be a reflection on the other end, like that. We might just need to adjust this again once everything is in, but for now I think that's the correct place for it to sit. So this is gonna go in the reverse, so we're gonna see the lowest point on the front view, and we're gonna put that here, because that is the lowest point here is this comp's highest point, but it's not going to be equals, so it's just going to be 28. And then we need to find a new low point for QF2, so that's going to be this line over here next to P. We can actually check on, as a quick way to look, whatever this thing is, maybe minus 81. QF2. Oh, this must be less than negative 28, and then negative greater than negative 81. There we go. So now if I come over here, there we go. So let's just enable this expression again. So now we can see it moving. We can see it rotating. Oh, we need to enable our front, unsolar this, sorry. Because it's solar, it's still just showing those body parts. There we go. It's rotating. So you see there, this is fine, but as soon as I go to this quarter front, then it shifted a bit to the left. So let me just open up another window and just shift this so it sits nice on the neck. Okay, I think that's fine. Close this window again. There we go. So the rest of the rig until we get to the arms and legs is just going to be rinse and repeat of this whole process. So I'm just gonna go on radio silence because it's just going to be a lot of over explaining, and I'm just going to do like a nice time lapse so you can watch me build this out. So I just want to complete all of the quarter front pieces first. So I think just so I can close this off and not have like too many comps building up, which can often lead to like getting confused where you are. So I'm just going to finish the full front to quarter front change before I do any more profile pieces. So yeah, so the way I'm gonna go from this point is get everything to swap here, then make compositions of this, and then bring the rest of the pieces into the compositions. Because now that these are all grouped, I can parent these back to their respective bones. B head, that's also B head. So find B torso, find B neck, spine, and hips. Because all the pieces are now already set to rotate, so we can just parent those back up now. So I figured let me finish all the limbs, and then we can just work our way from top to bottom with all of them. So it's always good to have like a nice system like that, so you won't get confused. So you know, okay, I finished all this, and then wherever the last piece you're working on, you know, you still have the whole bottom row to do. So yeah, let me just keep doing that. I'm just going to show with one hand, because this explains the gist of how they're all going to go down. So with my hands, so they all have these circles here. So I want all these circles to line up with my hands. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lower the opacity of these so that I can see that these are perfectly lining up, so they can swap. But as you can see, like the front fist and the QF fist is identical, but still I still just want them to line up perfectly. And I'm going to do that for the rest of the limbs and then just rig them up. So back to the time lapse. So yeah, once I had all the pieces swapping, I decided to just rig them up to the arm bones, so that's out the way.